We just got off the world's largest cruise ship, the Star of the Seas. And this is the good, bad, and ugly.
JJ Cruise.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Jordan.
And I'm Jared.
And this is
JJ
JJ Cruise. Well, today we're talking all things Star of the Seas. This is, of course, Royal Caribbean's newest and largest mega cruise ship that cost $2 billion to build.
We're going to talk about all things Star of the Seas, from the good to our bad and even our ugly. And we're going to talk about all the things you need to know before going on board Star of the Seas or even booking the world's biggest cruise ship.
Before we get into it, I do just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. We do all things cruising here on JJ Cruise, so if you love cruising as much as we do, please hit that subscribe button, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit the thumbs up.
There are a lot of questions that we had, as well as we know you have at home, before looking at the world's biggest cruise ship, Star of the Seas, such as, is this cruise ship too big? Is this cruise ship have too much for families to where kids are going to be running around and you cannot relax at sea?
We know when you go on vacation, one of the most important parts is your money. And we understand that Star of the Seas is one of the most expensive vacations that you can spend your hard-earned money on. So the big question that we're going to ask is Star of the Seas worth it? And was it worth it for the two of us?
We're going to talk about who it's for, whether that's a family, all the way from grandma and grandpa down to the little ones, or if it's for solo cruisers and even those that might be going with their significant other. So let's get into it by starting off with our good.
Let's start by talking about our stateroom. For our voyage, we were in a Surfside view balcony room. Now, this is a standard size balcony, whether you are looking at a specific neighborhood or you're looking at the ocean. All of the balcony rooms are very similar on Star of the Seas. We were really impressed with the layout and the size of this space. The flow was really nice from the couch to the bed. We felt like we had plenty of storage for our voyage. And one of our favorite parts of this room was actually the bathroom.
The shower in this bathroom is amazing. You do not have to worry about space because there's so much of it. The door actually swivels out so you can easily get in and out of the shower, and there is no shower curtain to be had.
There's also a small bench in the shower, so you can actually have a place to shave your legs if you need that. And the towel rack is inside the shower, which is very different compared to other cruise ships. So we thought the layout of the bathroom was really nice on board Star of the Seas.
Whether you're going with just one person or if you're going with a family, this is going to be a good sized stateroom, and you don't have to necessarily splurge for a suite just to have more space. Once we stepped outside our stateroom, we loved this open concept ship. There are so many different neighborhoods across this ship, but in general, the fact that there's so much space everywhere for the world's biggest cruise ship is key. You never feel like you're crowded in hallways or in elevator banks or anywhere across this ship because it's such a feel of an open concept or wide open space. We know a lot of people are going to have questions of how Icon of the Seas differs from Star of the Seas. And this first area in our good is a big one. There was a lack of wall art across the ship on Icon of the Seas, and we found that different on Star of the Seas. We loved the amount of art. Though it be eclectic, there is a lot of unique art across the ship, whether it's on the walls or sculptures or even on the ceilings. You can really find art across the ship.
One of the things from the Oasis class to the Icon class that was a huge improvement was that you get these large open spaces with ocean views. That's something that many people complained about on Oasis of the Seas and the sister ships to Oasis, and they fixed that. So not only do you have these massive open spaces, but you have beautiful ocean views as you're sailing through the Caribbean. The best part about this ship is the neighborhoods. From Central Park to Surfside to Thrill Island, the neighborhoods are so impressive on the Icon class ships. We love that they took pretty much the same layout for these neighborhoods as Icon and put them on Star of the Seas. The ship is easy to get around. The neighborhoods make the ship feel not too big. And the best part is they really keep the kids and family areas separated from the adult zones or neighborhoods on board the ship.
That was a big question we had coming on board the Icon class to begin with, was whether or not we would be able to stay with adults if we wanted to stay with adults and stay away from the little ones. We were pleasantly surprised that that is still true on Star of the Seas. We did not have to see kids if we did not want to see kids running around.
You have Surfside situated right next to Adventure Ocean, so those are the major kids sections on the ship. And then you have the Hideaway, which is the adults only beach club on board. Places like the casino and music hall are also placed together and away from the kids' neighborhoods. So if you did want to get away from kids and family as maybe adults without children, it was possible on Star of the Seas.
That's for those that want to stay away from kids, but we know so many people want to sail on Star of the Seas with their family, and this is a perfect ship to do so. Adventure Ocean was one of the coolest spots we could see, whether that be for the kids or all the way up to the Teens Club, which is kind of like a speakeasy. It is one of the coolest spots. I wish I could be in the Teens Club all day, every day, because that club is legit. So there's just so much available space and things to do for kids, even when they are away from the parents who might be getting away for a nice dinner at sea.
Now, if your kids are away from you, Star of the Seas has rolled out something brand new. And this, I think a lot of people have been waiting for. There are now available for purchase kid trackers, which they actually look like those WOW bands, if you remember those from a few years ago. These are bands that can be purchased for $15 for your voyage, and it allows you to track where your child is on the ship. And one of the best parts are, gone are the days where you have to wear that uncomfortable plastic bracelet if you're a little one on board. You can be replaced with one of these nice trackers, and they even have attachments that show your muster station that can attach directly to the bracelet.
Now, these kid trackers are just being tested out, so we can't wait to see where they go from here, but we were one of the first sailings that they were able to test it out, and from those parents that did use it, they loved it. So we can't wait to see what's to come with these kid trackers.
One of my favorite parts of Star of the Seas was the number of ways to pool on board. There are so many different pools and hot tubs on this ship. If you are someone that loves the water as much as Jared and I do, you're going to love the pools on board this ship.
I think I counted 17 ways that you can get wet, if you will, on board Star of the Seas. That is plenty of ways for me.
In addition to the 17 pools and hot tubs, there are also 6 water slides on board, which is a part of the Category 6 Waterpark. But my personal favorite pool on board is the Hideaway.
The Hideaway is definitely a highlight for all the adults on board. It is that pool club vibe that you get in Vegas, but brought onto a cruise ship, with some relaxing music before the day gets started. But once it hits noon, you can hit some really good tunes in the pool. These are the best aft-facing views on the ship, and you're suspended so far up that it's just like an infinity pool into the ocean.
Sunset views from the Hideaway pool are my new favorite views from, I think, any cruise ship ever.
Now let's move into the food, because this is one of our favorite things on board Star of the Seas. And we can't talk about food without talking about the main dining room. This is one of those questions. With the world's biggest cruise ship, will we have the longest wait lines? Well, even though our main dining room floor was almost at capacity, every seat was taken, we had seamless and efficient service. In fact, we were in and out within 50 minutes. And that was for every single meal that we needed, from appetizer, entree, to dessert and drink service within that time.
The food was also hot and good. It was your very standard Royal Caribbean menu, but we had great meals in the main dining room while we were on board Star. But one of the things we were most impressed with was the amount of free and fast casual food on board Star of the Seas. Now, if you've been on Icon of the Seas or know much about Icon of the Seas, one of the new neighborhoods is the AquaDome. Inside the AquaDome, there is the AquaDome Market. This market has fast, casual eateries that are just fast, quick service stands that you can go and get some delicious different bites. And we loved the new options that we found on board Star of the Seas.
Two of our favorite new ones our Mai Tai, which is kind of that Thai food, everything from Penang curry to that of a Pad Thai, of course, and Pig Out Barbecue. This was one of your favorites.
Yeah, Pig Out Barbecue is barbecue food. And I'm just going to say this right now. Don't judge me. The macaroni and cheese bowl with meat and barbecue sauce and coleslaw is one of the best things I have ever eaten on a Royal Caribbean ship.
Wow, that's saying a lot because we've sailed almost every Royal Caribbean ship. Of course, there's more casual eateries that are complimentary besides that of AquaDome Market. You have some favorites like Sorrento's and El Loco Fresh. You also have Pearl Cafe and Park Cafe. But on top of all of this, you have Base Camp. And we had Base Camp on Icon of the Seas, but on Star of the Seas, it's a little bit different. Everything's complimentary that's on the menu. But on top of that, the smash burger at this complimentary restaurant was amazing. It was one of my favorites. It reminded me of a Culver's Butter Burger or a smash burger from a local joint at home. It was delicious and completely included in your cruise fare.
We also love that all of your favorite specialty dining restaurants you can find here on Star of the Seas. From Chops to Hooked to Giovanni's Table, you've got so many specialty dinners if you do want to pay a little extra and do something special. The newest, though, and maybe most special dining venue in the specialty dinner category is the Lincoln Park Supper Club.
We were able to go inside the Lincoln Park Supper Club, and it is beautiful. However, our reservation is not until our next sailing on Star of the Seas, which is just in under a week. So stay tuned for our full review, our full honest review of whether or not Lincoln Park Supper Club may be the most expensive dining at sea, definitely for Royal Caribbean, if it's worth it or not. What goes best with the food is some good quality drinks. And although we loved our service, the service was fantastic on our sailing, we have to focus on the bar menus because unlike many Royal Caribbean ships, most of the bars on board Star of the Seas have unique menus. These menus are craft cocktails. They might have different wines and beers, but in general, these craft cocktails are what we have to highlight. We loved at Lou's the Jazzy Saz, which is a Sazerac, but it's a little bit more elevated and a little bit more unique than a traditional Sazerac. And on top of that, at the 1400 Lobby Bar, the first song, where it has fresh watermelon in the drink. Every bar was so delicious what we went to, but we just loved that we had variety at every single bar we went to.
I will say Star of the Seas or Icon of the Seas are a couple of cruise ships where the drink package probably is actually worth your money because you're going to get to try so many unique and craft cocktails throughout the ship that it's something that we would recommend opting in to get if you do enjoy a nice beverage in the evening.
We actually made a drink around Icon of the Seas, and we're currently making a drink around Star of the Seas map guide. If you're going on Icon or Star of the Seas, you can go to our Facebook page and find that drink around Icon or Star of the Seas guide. And we will tell you the best drinks or our recommended drinks at every single bar on these amazing cruise ships.
Next, let's talk about entertainment. If you follow Royal Caribbean closely, you know that they have some of the best entertainment at sea. And that has only gotten elevated with Star of the Seas. The ice skating show, the Aqua Show, and the main theater show, which is Back to the Future, are some of the best entertainment we have seen on any cruise ship. And we've been on 100 cruises.
Yes, Jordan is correct here. We love the shows on Star of the Seas, and it is worth the money. These shows are over $100 in cost per person if you were to see them on Broadway or if you were to see them in Vegas. And that is the caliber of talent and incredible acts that you will see in each one of these shows.
We saw Back to the Future on the West End in London, and then we saw it on Star of the Seas. We actually thought it was more high tech and the acting was better on the cruise ship. And I have never said that when comparing a land show to a cruise show before. They have spent multi-million dollars on bringing Back to the Future to life on board this stage. And it was so incredible that you have to just go see it for yourself.
Although I loved Back to the Future, Torque as the Aqua Show was also a favorite. This show is high-paced, high energy, but there's also those intimate moments as well. You have high diving acts as well as modern dance crews on this water stage that transforms from stage to water seamlessly. You also have synchronized swimming and some incredible costumes and acts. Even that of the slackliner was some incredible feats, but the music put with this was perfect and seamless. We really enjoyed this show.
The last big show on board was Seoul. That is the ice skating show, and that is an homage to the sun and sunny places around the world. So whether you're in Miami or Texas, or maybe find yourself in Palm Springs, it is a very bright ice show with some of the most high-tech technology that brings the ice skating rink to life.
I have to say one more point about the entertainment spaces. Thank you to Royal Caribbean for focusing on the theater seats on board this ship. We have seen so many new cruise ships that go away with drink holders. They make the seats super tight and uncomfortable. So many seats don't have good views of the stage. None of that is the case on Star of the Seas. We love the main theater, the Royal Theater, as well as Absolute Zero, have comfortable seats with great views all around and have drink holders. And we have to say thank you for also improving the AquaDome. Though it's not perfect, there are more backs on those seats, which was a huge problem on Icon of the Seas.
One more part of the entertainment that we love is the live music. There is live music in almost every venue on board this ship, from the Dueling Piano Bar to the Jazz Club to the pub, the Schooner Bar. There is so much live music to be heard. We even heard a harpist in Central Park one night. I don't know the last time I heard a harp on a cruise ship, but the live music was amazing, and they have some incredible talent on board Star of the Seas.
I love that it's diverse talents. The fact that you can see a rock concert in the music hall and then go to Central Park to see a harpist, or have Jazz and Lou's Jazz Bar. It's just so cool to be able to change up your music whenever you like and really get what you're looking for at sea. The last part of the good before we move on to the bad and then our ugly is this new party, which is the Y2K party. This is a dance party at night and you have to be there. It's in the promenade. We were a little skeptical going to it, to be honest with you, but give it at least 10 to 15 minutes. And I say that because I know a secret that you cannot leave any earlier than that. You need to stay there because it gets started and gets going about 10 minutes in. So be there and just know that you're in for a treat for this Y2K party.
I don't know if this makes us older now, but one of the cool things is the Y2K party is built for millennials. So that is one of the first parties that I've seen on a cruise ship that is truly for this generation, compared to maybe the 70s party, which was more for my parents. So we love the Y2K party. It's definitely one not to miss.
That was the good. Let's talk about the bad, and make sure you stay tuned for the end because we're going to talk about our ugly at the very end, something that we think was not worth it.
There was one thing in the staterooms that we just loathe. We didn't like it on Icon of the Seas. We had hoped they would change it for Star of the Seas, and they didn't. And that is the baskets that you find in the closet area. This particular storage is not only an eyesore, the baskets make the worst screeching noise when you pull them out of the wood shelf that it sits on. I think that these baskets are just a terrible choice. And I don't know if it was a cost issue that they didn't put actual drawers in the closet, but we did not like these baskets on Icon, and we did not like them on Star.
That screeching noise is the bane of my existence. I will not use those baskets on any Star of the Seas sailing moving forward because I cannot take that noise. Another bad that we had actually coming from Icon of the Seas that we hoped they would improve on Star of the Seas was the lack of shade in the Hideaway area. This adults only oasis is missing the palm trees, if you will, because there's not any shade in this area. There are a few kind of architectural fake trees there that barely provide any shade. And obviously, if you stay in one place for one moment, it's gonna go away in a second. We really hope they can bring some umbrellas or something of a shade element to this area in the future on Legend of the Seas or any future Icon class ships.
We talked about how much we love that there's so many specialty restaurants and so many eateries on board the ship, but there's one eatery that is just too much out in the open, and that is Giovanni's, which is found in the main promenade. This area is completely open to the rest of the promenade, And there is so much live music throughout the promenade that it really puts a damper on your dinner, especially if you're trying to have a nice, quiet dinner. When you sit there and enjoy your food, you're constantly going to hear a variety of different types of music, whether it be from boleros or from the main promenade stage. We think that this design element is just not great, and it really is not the best environment for Giovanni's, especially given that you're eating such delicious food while you're there.
We hope they change this venue up in the future on Legend of the Seas to make it something more fitting for a promenade and maybe move Giovanni's to another area that's a little bit more intimate and enclosed. Another bad for us is the fact that Dueling Pianos is still too small of a venue for what it is. This is a highlight for many cruisers and the place to go on board their cruise, as you have two pianists dueling it out with modern hits, top music, kind of like taking the Piano Man from Schooner Bar and doubling the effect. It is one of the favorites for so many cruisers, but it is too small of a space for people to actually enjoy. We found this every single night where it was packed, standing room only, and it bled out into the promenade, even making it to where it's hard to get bass people to get across that deck of the ship. Hopefully in the future this changes, or maybe you find another venue to put the dueling pianos in to make there more space and out of the way of everyone else.
There are two other venues that pack out quickly, and this is so important if you are going on Star of the Seas. Both Absolute Zero, which is the ice skating rink, as well as the AquaDome for the Aqua Show, fill up so fast. These are ticketed venues, so you do have to have tickets to see the shows in either of these spaces. We would recommend always looking out for tickets. They open up about 30 to 45 days prior to your sailing. So ensure that you get the tickets so that you can get in there, but go early. If you don't go early, you might be sitting on a bench without a back, or you might be all the way at the very back row of the ice skating rink. There's not a lot of bad seats, but still, you may be split up from your party because you might not be able to find seats together.
And for the non-ticket events, if there's anything like Quest or any kind of game show in these venues, please make sure you go early because those seats do pack out. We did not have Quest on our sailing, so we're not sure if they'll keep it there or make it somewhere else in another venue, but we know in the past that has been true on Icon of the Seas.
One last bad, and maybe it's more of a disappointment, is when Star of the Seas was released and had all the information about the venues on board, it really does lack new venues. We realize the Icon class is still brand new to the world, and there's so many people that did not sail on Icon of the Seas. So this is not a real problem, but for Royal Caribbean superfans like us, we would love to see another new specialty restaurant, maybe outside of the Lincoln Park Supper Club, or some new entertainment venues, or just something a little bit innovative and different that sets it apart from Icon of the Seas.
One thing we've seen more recently on some of the newer ships is the Pesky Parrot. We would love to even have that type of bar, a really fun, quirky venue with great drinks and great edible straws to come on board the next iteration of Legend of the Seas for the Icon class. But in general, we love this ship, but there is one big ugly that we found on this sailing that we didn't even really feel on Icon of the Seas, but we did feel on Star of the Seas.
And for Royal Caribbean, we want to say it's not worth it. Take your money elsewhere. The ugly that we found on Star of the Seas was primarily a lot of the furniture throughout the public spaces on the ship. This is some of the most uncomfortable furniture that we have ever sat on, and I don't remember feeling this way about the furniture on Icon of the Seas.
When we say uncomfortable, we mean that there are halfbacks. The seats are not meant for humans, they're more meant for show. And we know that is a modern thing that we've seen on other cruise ships, but what we have seen differently is that on other cruise ships, the comfortability factor is still playing a part. On Star of the Seas, there were so many seats that we were just like, I don't want to sit here. I would rather sit at the bar in a bar stool than actually in a couch. And I don't know the last time I've ever said that, especially on a cruise ship. So hopefully you can take your money elsewhere, save some money on the modern design decor for furniture, and maybe spend it on more comfortable furniture that may not be as modern in look, but definitely more functional for us.
This was not in all venues. So if you don't find a place to sit down that's comfortable, we just recommend moving on to the next venue, as there are many venues on board the world's largest cruise ship.
That was it. That was our full, honest review of the Star of the Seas, the world's biggest cruise ship at sea. We want to know your thoughts at home. Have you been on Star of the Seas or Icon of the Seas? What are your thoughts of this world's largest cruise ship? Let us know in the comments below, and we want to hear from you.
And don't forget, we are both travel agents. So if you're interested in booking an Icon class ship like Star of the Seas, we can help get you there. We'd be more than happy to look at things like availability, best pricing. So if you're interested in sailing on one of these incredible ships, please reach out to us at jjcruise.com. This is a cruise that we would do again and again. It was one of our favorite cruises ever. And honestly, this ship is great for families, couples, solo travelers, all alike. Star of the Seas provides a unique opportunity for all types of people to go on board and create lasting memories for a lifetime. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up on your way out. Again, my name is Jordan.
And I'm Jared.
And until next time, see ya!